Okay, so in this video, we're going to set up the site for the gun. And again, just like the magazine, all you do is search for like an existing site. So we're going to use the Zubeknikov iron sites, uh, duplicate them, rename them to whatever you want. I'm going to say HK33 iron sites. And I'm going to drag them into the scene, both the site and the item. And then just, obviously they're in the wrong place, so just set the origin to 000, and they should be like this. Okay, the site, for some reason, this one is not rotated -90, so you can just do that. Okay, so here's the site. This is like this is the site model that you look down in game. And again, very simple, just replace the model with your own. So we have our HK33 rear site here. And we can do the same with this item. It's going to be a very small item. And then we can also drag our material onto it. Either the texture or the material, doesn't matter. Okay, now we have the item. So let's just quickly set up the item. All it is like I really don't like how Nelson made sights in this, where you have to have like a removable iron sight for every single weapon. It's very silly. But that's how it works. So just don't make the hitbox too small. And just make sure the icon is in the right place. So if you put your camera on it, it should look kind of like this. You can put in orthographic mode for a better view, more realistic view, and this is kind of what it will look like. If you want to change, like if you have a carrier handle or something, you want like a sideways view, that you can also do that. And then just make sure to remove the camera afterwards, otherwise the item won't work. Okay, so now that's the item, and don't make the hitbox too small, otherwise it will fall through the earth. Don't really want that. And then we can apply the changes for the item, that's fine. Then it's the HK33, then it's the site. So this is what actually spawns on the gun. So exactly the same as everything we've done so far, parent this onto the site game object, and then it's now make sure the origin is set to 0 of the child. And then now you're free to move this around. Also, I just quickly want to show you another trick, and this is actually quite important if you adding support for weapons that have different scopes. And like if you want to be able to put a red dot on this, or like a red cross scope, what you should do in that case is get this drag this red cross scope from the prefabs, and then do the same, drag it onto your site parent game object, and then just set the origin to 0. So now right now as it stands, if you attach a red cross scope onto this gun in game, it's going to spawn here. Now, is that really what you want? Not necessarily. I think we want this to be more like here, I would say. That looks a bit better. And then you can do it with, if you want like to put a 8x scope, you can also do that. Drag it into the world, reparent it, just make sure it's on the right. I see I didn't actually put this in the right place, but just make sure, yeah, just make sure, and then set the origin to 000, and that's what it's going to look like with an 8x scope. Just get rid of that. So that's in a decent place. I'm fairly happy with that. So I'm not going to, and then you just want to drag. So before you do anything, you want to drag this into the right place. I think where we have it right there is pretty good. You can test it with every site in the game, or if you have like your custom sites, I tend to use those more. So I'm going to be setting this up for my own red dot. And that's in a quite a nice spot actually already. So I'm going to leave it like this. Or maybe we can just test it with the holographic as well. Zero, zero. That's quite good. Okay, maybe we can move it slightly up. Okay, so now if we were to put a holographic on this right now, and if everything is set up correctly, this is how it's going to look. Okay, so we don't need the holographic anymore. We're going to start working on the actual site. So we've got our iron sight model here, which has been moved into the model. So we need to now move this into a place where we want it to be when the gun spawns in. So if I just look at my model here, it's kind of at the back before the stock part. So I would say there's fine. Okay, now the hardest part here, well, it's not really hard, it's just you gotta just follow the process, is to make sure that the sights line up with the rear sight. So you won't have to do this if you're you could have, you know, like you could have made this the same model with the same, you could have made the front sight as like as part of the rear sight, so when you take it off it gets removed. But for this gun I don't want this front sight to be removed when you take it off, so I only want the rear sight to be removed, so that's why I've made it like that. But you just need to make sure that that it lines up with the front sight exactly. So how you do that is there's this game object called aim. And what aim does is it's this is like where your camera appears when you're looking down sights. So what you need to do here is put a camera object onto aim. It will be facing upwards to start off with, so you can just rotate that down like that. Make sure it's 90 degrees down. Oh, and then also it's upside down, so you can flip it the right way around. And then if we zoom it in, this is our side picture right now. This is kind of what it's going to look like. But this isn't actually what we want, and because you see it's going to be off. It's going to be quite well off, so we don't want this. And how we fix this is we just move our model up into the air so we can see clearly. And for the rear sight, we want basically, okay, for this side we want the like vertical center of the camera to be where my mouse is here, in but like on these top two corners of the whole of like the hole. So you just have to, you can zoom in like so much, and you just want to get this like, I think we have to go like this. No. Just somewhere over here. Don't really have to be too, as long as it's not like away. So then if we zoom out, this is what we're going to be looking at if we were just looking down the rear sight. And then what we do now is we move this down so that it matches up with the front sight. So this is okay, we're getting there now. So we just kind of have to keep moving model until it's in the right place. That's like nearly there. Maybe if I go one tiny piece up. Okay, now it's too high, so we're going to have to manually type this in. Oh, sorry, not aim. We want to be changing model. I don't know if it should go up or down. I think I'm just going to leave it like this. That's pretty good. Okay, actually, maybe it should go a bit down. It's slightly too high. I think 9.2 is the best we're gonna get. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's do 9.25. Nice. Okay, once you're done, you can remove this, and the only thing left to do is to just think about how close it should be. So if you make this like too close, it's gonna look ugly. If you make it too far away, the side picture is going to be like really far away from your gun. This is basically like where your eye is going to be. So you kind of want this to be where it would be in real life. And I think for the G3, it's kind of like, or the HK33's G3 series, it's going to be more or less here. Okay, now we are done with the sight. If we just move this, we don't have to move the sight, but to apply it, yeah, that's pretty much it. And we can apply both of these changes. So that's actually everything there is to the gun. Okay. I don't think I have anything else to do. Let me just pause. And okay, I'm going to end it here. And the next one will just be like a really quick video about animations and how to set them up. And then we're going to move on to the dat file stuff. Okay.